money always follows purpose, but seeing what we have for our agents and our team and network, how it's touched their personal lives. We had agent lose 80 pounds. We had a few agents now get sober. We have agents paying off debt, agents buying their first, second investment home, and seeing their lives being changed is more powerful than any figure in your bank could be.
Well, hello. This is Cynthia Tant with Sip Sell Repeat Real Estate here in Pensacola, Florida. And I have the honor to share with you Jen Marie out of Scottsdale, Arizona. And she's going to tell you, well, I'm going to tell you first a little bit about you, and then she may end up telling you a little bit more. But she's a team leader in her, oh gosh, Jen, it's the brain drain right now. Jen Marie Home Team. Yes, I forgot. I did away with the screen I was reading, and you're a team leader of 65 agents, selling about 600 homes and 300 million in volume. Number one EXP team in Arizona. That's awesome. Entrepreneur, coach, author, mom of four, which I can't believe. A life learner, biohacker, art, and an adrenaline junkie. So we want to hear what you have to say about your real estate experience and how did you get started? Tell us a little bit about your history.
Yeah, so I'll backtrack to 1978 when I was born. And it's growing up, I always felt it didn't fit in because I always had big questions, imagination, what are you going to do with your life? And one year I wanted to be president. And, so fast track, can't graduate high school. And in Riverside, California, just really wasn't a lot of big dreamers. It's oh, when I graduate, I'll just have a job and I'll have more time to party. And I'm 18, I got myself out of there. I got to Orange County. I enrolled in college, at fashion school actually at that time. And 2 months later, after college, I find out I'm pregnant. So now I'm 18, I'm on my own. And at the time I was making $600 a month, renting a room in not so good of a town. But, and I had to make money, I had to make it work. So I knew college always for me was plan X. I worked with too many bad bosses that I was way more intelligent than. And I'm no, I want to work for myself. So I cocktail waitress at night. I went to business school and I saved every penny I had. Huntington Beach, where I lived, it's not cheap, right? So I couldn't afford to get into real estate there. So we had some friends from that were living in Arizona and they were flipping homes. So at the time, I'm paying about $1,700 a month in rent. And this was 2002. And I'm but you can own two houses and both the mortgages are less than $1,500. And I'm I can get a house for $115,000. I can put $10,000 of work and I could sell it for 160. So I'm this math just pencils out. I was good at looking at tanning salons. Thank God I didn't go that route. So I moved here. I jumped full force. I was so excited. First year, I sell 46 homes. And I already hired an assistant to have the whole year. That was my first full year. I had an assistant the whole year. I got invested in multifamily and single family rentals and even was developing 12 luxury homes. And then 2008 happened. And so
Yeah.
I lost everything. And I still remember because I was millions of dollars in debt. And I still remember the day that I got to zero. And it was so exciting. That you were able to pay off all your debt. So 2008, I pivoted. I went to REO and short sale.
Yep. Yep.
I got into the market. I did fairly well, but it was tight because I've always been the sole income earner in my house. I like to spend my time on the things I want to do and not be trapped in the things that obviously I hate, I'm not even good at. 2011, I did great. We were doing bidding at the auction. We flipped 50 homes that year. Google was popping. That goes to 2012 and 13. And then 2014, I wanted to start a team. I'm I've always had an assistant. I've always had administrative help, but I've always had maybe one agent. So I'm no, I see myself growing. I want to grow something big. So I hired my first agent. That's 2014. Still with me today, 11 years later, had kids, grandkids together, but So that's when I really started the team. So I was doubling. I was going from like 46 million to like 87 million. But then I reached a cap. And I found I was still in production at the time, but I was producing. That was the reason why I was profitable because of my production. My team was literally unprofitable. So I had to work just to pay the deficit my team created. So it's hard. It had 3 agents in 2000, early 2018. And so I was with a big name brokerage paying a ton of fees. And at
Lots of
that
no.
point, I already expected, like, they're not going to help me build my business. It's on me, like I didn't even use the balloon branding that they had. And so I had 2 of my mentors who were always like 10 steps above me, Kyle Whistle, Dan
Yep.
Peters. And so they announced on Valentine's Day. I couldn't sleep for a whole week because I really saw the vision. I will tell you, I'm an open book with how to grow a team. So, I quickly ramped up. We had, so today we've incrementally grown all throughout. So I think when I first joined, I was doing 87 million. So last year we closed out a little over 300 million, 65 agents. And then I have about 600 agents in my international network. And then we've also been able to do things like opening a joint venture and things like title, mortgage. So every time you do a transaction, there's like multiple buckets. So I'm obsessed with systems, leverage, mindset, growth, leadership. I believe leaders grow leaders who grow leaders. So yeah, I mean, I'm all about legacy and, who knows where it's going to take us because I know Elon Musk is said that Mars will be colonized in our lifetime. So maybe open a branch there.
I mean, same thing with me starting a lot long ago because I had already graduated high school before you were born. So let's just start there. Actually, I almost graduated college. Oh my God, I graduated college before when you were born. So different generations. And that's what I want to talk to you about too, because you're very into the systems, which again, I go back to my starting and didn't have all those systems or these systems that we have today. When you said that you had the one agent that didn't think about building a team, and then the other one that's more like a D personality, and it's like, "Go, go, go, let's make it happen." I've had those same people too. So, what did you find that you said you wanted to help both of them to see the big picture? Because what do people, I guess, in the public, what's the biggest misconception about us as realtors by the public? And then how would you share that with those 2 different types of personalities?
Um, so there's 2 different types of buyers
Right.
and so kind of explain that a little bit more.
2 different types of you got 2 different types of realtors,
Oh, got it. Okay.
and then but the perception of the public about us as realtors, what does the public think we do? And then
Well,
how yeah,
yeah.
go with that first.
So yeah, the public thinks that, we're like esteemed like used car salesmen. They think we go show them a few houses and we just like write a contract. Most agents never tell their sellers, they just put on the MLS, right? And don't do anything. They have no value proposition. Well, in that case,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, they have an easy job, but they're not worth, what are they worth? They're costing you money by listing with them.
Mhm.
So that's where, we can be seen, as like not the experts with servant hearts, but so with the team, I mean, it's all high tides rise all boats. You're the
Yep,
sum total of like now the 65 agents that we spend the most time with. And like
right.
I know with like say collaboration, like
Yep.
I've been at coaching and brokerages and it would be like surface level collaboration,
Mhm,
right? So
mhm.
it's like with the team, because we're financially aligned, it is the deepest level of collaboration you can have. Oh, you want to know what I do in my listing presentation? How about I send you the candle link? Who would do
Mhm.
that? In the other brokerages, they might say like, oh, I tell them I do professional photos or, something done. So it's really like demonstrating to the client our value. So our value as their agents, and we coach agents like how to get better, of course. And then the collective of the team. Like, why is it
Love it.
beneficial to work with a team over a solo agent? Well, I can tell you a
Love
lot
it.
why. Like, I don't work
Yeah.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I actually take vacations, and once every 3 years, I get a common cold. I'm pretty
Yeah.
healthy. But there might be a chance I'm not available. Also, do you think a really busy, successful agent has time to meet like do the final walkthrough and meet the vendors and coordinate all the showings and all the escrow support. And no, we have a whole team designed to do that. We have an incredible value proposition, and we demonstrate that through a true buyer's presentation and a listing presentation, of course.
Right.
But like from the minute that you meet that client, like it needs to be best first impression you could possibly make. So, and a lot of that is just like you got to prepare. You get a buyer showing, you don't just book the showing and show up. Put the buyer presentation together, put information about other homes, put information about the market. When they show up, have a professional presentation to give besides here's an MLS sheet. So again, it's like we're always, and especially today, it's never been more competitive, like ever. Like we think it might be easy because of all social media, but it has truly never been competitor. And what we're seeing a trend in the industry right now is not only have brokerages been losing steam for quite a bit, losing market share for quite a while, but teams have also been dissolved or absorbed at a record rate than all of history. So the big are getting bigger. And that's what I've also done is not only do I attract agents, but I have smaller teams that are on my team, but I help them grow their team within my team. So they can tap into all the systems, all the training, all the leverage that we have spent years building out. They can do what they do best, which is sell a lot of homes and coach agents and meet them. So we've really been able to get in, like my highest producer a few years ago might be 18, 20 million. Today, my highest producer is doing well over 60 million. So it can be done. And so when you're meeting buyers and sellers now, and now like investors, because I know you've done a lot of development, there's so much
Yeah.
development opportunity, investment opportunity. But when you're bringing value to clients now, I mean, let's be real. We all know it. 78% of agents never even renew their license after 2 years, 87% in less than 5 years. Like in my team, like we're not very casual about like our hiring. We only want like a Navy SEAL team. There's no room for laziness, lack of discipline, lack of integrity, not doing what you said you're going to do. And really adhering to our core values, because when you really work as a team, first of all, you're going to do a lot better. You can work in your zone of genius, but also it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun doing it with people than being some lone island. And I will just say, if I was around the group that I am in now, in 2008, I would have been one of the biggest REO agents. But I didn't know. So I got into REO like 9 months too late. And it literally was that 9 months that I could have just had 10x, 100x the business I had. So really, it's like being around the agents, being around teams, being around other team leaders, and not just like in state, but now like I have a network internationally. So it truly is, we can learn from each other so much because it's not just providing more value to our clients. I see things as our agents are our clients, and we always want to be doing more for them, so they're growing every year. I don't ever want an agent to get stagnant. Some agents are going to have higher goals than others, and that's fine. But we want to help you grow. Every year you should be seeing not just professional growth, because for me, money always follows purpose, but seeing what we have for our agents and our team and network, how it's touched their personal lives. We had agent lose 80 pounds. We had a few agents now get sober. We have agents paying off debt, agents buying their first, second investment home, and seeing their lives being changed is more powerful than any figure in your bank could be.
And a lot of the ladies that would be listening here on Sip Sell Repeat and what you're saying, many of them may be new agents that they're coming
Right.
on board. And so, what could you say to that first agent? I mean, I know again, different times of coming in when new agents come with me. I'm a smaller brokerage, and I may specifically because of that, it's because I'm more into investments, and then I have property management. Oh my God, just too much of that, right? But
Yeah.
anyways, from that standpoint, when you have that new agent comes to you, has heard all about you, done the Google, searched you
Oh,
out,
yeah. Yeah. It happens all the time.
everything happens all the time. What are some of the things that you sit down with that agent to find out, especially if it's someone fresh out of college, but out of real estate
Oh,
school?
yeah.
And then what is something that you want to see or hear within them that would say, you know what, I think this guy or gal at the time, I think that's someone I'd like to take a chance on, not take a chance on. You've got steps and systems and everything, but I think that's someone that would fit into our team. What are some of those things that you're looking for?
Really, I mean, we do have core values, which I could tell you, but really it comes down to two things. It's very simple. It's hunger and commitment. Now, in an interview, they're all going to say whatever they're going to say. Yeah, I'm motivated. Oh, I want to do this. And yeah, I'm all in. And they're not. They don't show up. And then you
Yeah.
have the other agent that's kind of like maybe shy, still great, gain confidence. You're like, I don't know if this is going to work. And they blow it out of the water. Right. So, in that, like, so really, if I hire 10 agents, new agents, I really only want one or two to stay. So, and I really cut back. So, like, I started a new agent training in 2018, which we scaled and gotten better every year. And it's 9-day boot camp essentially that runs 9 days. In 2018, 19, 20, 21, all the way up until mid 22 when everything changed, new agents are pretty much what you had to get, right?
Right.
So we pour into them. They were doing good because everyone was doing better back.
Everyone was doing it. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I was looking at the trends throughout the year, and I said, we're going to scale back on new agent training, but we're going to completely rebuild our education cadence so that we are giving more to the experienced agents. Because right
Okay.
now, I'm getting more experienced
Yeah.
and true baller agents than I ever had before. So at the same time, I'm not going to give up on new agents. They're going to just have more hurdles to jump through. Like just say, for instance, in your first 7 days, you'll have to have 2 open houses, attend every class, take the online training, do the activities, take the quiz. Then and only then can you move on to the next step. So what we have done is so make it's even far more intense than it was, and it's already called the fast track intensive. But through that, after they graduate, which is in about 30 days, and hopefully they have a lead because hopefully they got something from their open houses. And so they will now officially be on our team. We have a heavy cadence that they have adhered to. But for new agents, what we do now is we have an apprenticeship program.
Oh,
So for the
fantastic.
first 3 to 5, depending on how confident we feel, they have to be working with an experienced
Somebody.
agent. Right now, I have an apprentice that is probably the most talented apprentice at 22 I've ever had.
Oh,
So
wow.
I've taken her under my wing. She's shadowing me. She's working in my office. She is
Right.
absorbing things so fast because 22 years, I mean, yeah, I mean, she hasn't been through, she went to college, got her degree, but like she isn't in the real world. So she
Right.
is learning super fast. She's super hungry. She's showing up. And I'm like, you are the kind of agent I will pour into. But the agents that don't show up, we just ask
Yeah.
them, hey, it's not a core value fit, or it's not a fit. We want you
Right.
to explore a better
Other
place
option.
to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Oh, sorry.
well, no, no, no. I was just going to say, because again, a new agent may not have any idea of what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah,
And it may have taken them 2 times to pass the test. And then all of a sudden, or
I
maybe
don't care
3.
about that. Like,
Yeah. I'm
some
just
people have
saying
an
that
AP.
it's, yeah, it's like they think it's, okay, well, I passed the test, blah, 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 blah. And I'm learning
Yeah.
everything about real estate, which we all know that's not. So, what I'm hearing from you then, you've been trying to get, or you are currently out of production and you're just more in a leadership, or are you still doing some of your own referrals or sales, or how's that
Well,
happening for you right now?
I will say that it really was. So November is our busiest month out of the year because that's why we are like hardcore business planning. Like you don't want to hit January, like, oh, I'll put my business plan
Oh, yeah.
together.
Now let's start. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So in that, like, I don't know what it was, just probably going to a couple conferences back to back, being around brilliant people. But when I came, I saw like I needed to kind of tear things down and build things up. So I have 6 months ago, I said I'm going to get into production and I closed like 3 or 4 deals. I realized like, first of all, like I love real estate. And actually when I get in the field again, like I am now, I'm actually a better team leader. I love operations. So I can systematize all these things I see to make every experience better. And now I have a showing agent who I take and she'll do all of my busy work because that's not what I'm good at. She'll do
Yeah.
all the like showing video tours and then she'll shadow me on all the appointments. So in the last week, I decided to dive in and
Oh,
I generated 18 appointments and I didn't take them all, but now I have a pipeline of 9. I have 2 listings going into escrow. I took 2 more listings and I'm like, and several of those were luxury, 2, 3.
yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm like, I can do this. And now I'm creating a profit center within my team.
There you go. And not in the recent history right now, but what was probably that you can recall the most unique transaction you maybe had in real estate, whether it was good or bad?
God.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people don't realize from a standpoint of, yeah, that can happen. That happened to me too. I went to knock on a door. Well, I went to open up the door. I had the key, and all of a sudden there's a pit bull staring at me, and there's a guy laying on the ground. The same thing happened, but fortunately the pit bull liked me, barked and said, "Oh," started wagging the tail. But it was a homeless person who had kicked in the back door. Well, we had signs in this particular area, so I had called the sheriff. Well, the sheriff comes out, and when he knocks on the door, the dog was gonna just take him apart. I said, "Oh my god," and so he did get the guy out, but yeah, so some of the crazy things.
Oh,
What's
one more
your
thing on that, because it was
Yeah,
reminding me. So one of my dear clients, she had these 2, I don't know, like wolf dogs. It's like they were like, you don't not wanna be with them." So she had them and she bought this big, huge house with a big, huge lot right next to a peacock farm. Well, every year the peacocks would fly into the backyard and they would just demolish it. So she would just come home to feathers. She's like, "I don't wanna kill any more peacocks. I gotta go."
so I thought I had some crazy stories. You got some really crazy stories. From the going let's switch a little bit to that investment part because I'm an investor, and the stories that you had of when getting started in the REO and everything. What's one piece, maybe two pieces of advice that you could share with the ladies of maybe what not to do in the
Oh,
investment
yeah.
thing? Yeah.
Well, okay, so I can tell you what I did stupidly, because I was
Yeah, okay.
so in, like, '05 and '06, like, I tried
Yeah.
to so I will tell you, I lived beneath my means. I was not buying, like, Louis Vuittons. I thought, like, I was doing the right thing, but I, like, put all my eggs in one basket. So I bought, like, multifamily homes in bad
Oh,
areas,
properties.
and
Yeah.
I bought, like, the luxury homes without super solid comps, and, the negative cash flow. So the only reason why I was, like, not, like, losing was just because the interest rate was artificially low and then would hike up, hike up, hike up.
Yep.
I had the worst of tenants in one of my triplexes in a really hard area. I got it vandalized, all the electric, plumbing, $75,000 of vandalization. Buying at the top of the market, being like so
Uh,
leveraged that was not the way to do it. So there's like obviously long-term ploy strategies and there's also short-term. What I've done is it always has to cash flow. Now, you can't expect like if you're running a long-term rental, you can't expect super high cash flow. Even if you're break even, that's fine. Because it's the long term, not only the long term appreciation, but the depreciation and the
yep.
tax, how it's going to affect your taxes is what's going to be like. You're going to have to look at like, yeah, I'm break even, but look at all this money I'm saving from depreciation, which is way, way, way more. You have to know too, it's all location, right? Location,
Right.
location,
Yep.
location. One thing I've always nailed is the lot. Especially for the houses I've lived in, I've always done, like, way above average because I've always focused on a bigger lot, nicer views, things you can't change. Same thing with, like, say, flips or Airbnbs. Like, you can go into an Airbnb situation, like buying a one-bedroom condo in some of these places right now, you're gonna lose money. It's so saturated. That's not the market to go in. So if
Right.
you're, like, more about the market, I know earlier this year we had this adorable couple, first time home buyers, and they're in the cutest historical district. There was a duplex, but they're two separate. Their Airbnb rents were sky high, so they moved into the back unit, which is cute, but not like as awesome as the front unit. And they are actually cash flowing off
Yep.
their first. And then flip to like if you look at like one of the best returns for Airbnbs right now, it is a luxury market. It isn't saturated, they're willing to pay top dollar. It does require higher level of service and that
Correct.
concierge
Yeah.
experience, and
Yeah.
I would not recommend doing it your own, especially if you first start. Knowing is super good. Like, I have an amazing luxury, Airbnb management company in 8 different markets. So, working with a really good vendor. But, yeah, I mean, if you look at even if you acquire 1 property a year, can you imagine where you'd be in 20 years? Not only would you have the appreciation, but hey, you can cash out and put it wherever you want and go see the world.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I told you about my experience with the multifamilies way back in 1994 and still owning them because I own them for all these years. And they're Airbnbs. I switched them from they're just little one bedrooms, but that's because it's near the water and it's pretty cool where their location is. But the B&B market has fluctuated too. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. And I just to say
So,
I'm
and
heavy enough to that market to really
Right.
be at the level you can. But yeah, but I haven't owned massive, but I owned a few in like really beautiful areas that I
Right.
would go and rent.
Vacation, like
Yeah,
vacation rentals. Yeah. Yeah. So we're in Pensacola. So we had beautiful beaches. The weather, yes, we still have hurricanes. So we're fortunately, we haven't had any in many, many years that have destroyed us. But beautiful beaches. Like on my 3 weeks ago, I was down in the Dominican when Hurricane what Melissa was coming across, and we're going, oh my God. But the beach there, I mean, I have a prettier beach. So I'm like, why am I going to a resort? My friends all don't live on beaches. And so they all want to go to the beaches in the Caribbean or somewhere. I said, okay, I'm going. But I said, if you come to Pensacola, you could have a better beach. So
yeah,
from the standpoint of vacation rentals. So that's a big market here, obviously.
yeah.
Um, from if some of the ladies here are listening to your experiences, how could they get in touch with you? What's the best way to reach you? How can we reach you?
I always find that Instagram is like one of the
Okay.
best channels.
Yeah.
It's really easy. So Jen Marie, JenMarie, right, Holmes. And so JenMarie.Holmes on Instagram. I do also have a book on Amazon. If you want to buy it, you get a free coaching session. But it's called The
Sweet.
Renaissance Real Estate Agent, Mastering the Art of Systems in Your Business. And it's
Say that again. Go slower.
the Renaissance Real Estate Agent, Mastering
Okay.
the Art of Systems in Your Business. And
Awesome.
so it's everything I've learned in 20 years: financing, marketing, recruiting, growing a team, passive income, the whole gambit. A lot of mindset stuff and definitely
Right.
some history put in there. And Leonardo da Vinci was a part of that inspiration. So,
Well, and you said at the very beginning before we even came on, you're a book junkie. And
oh,
then
continue
what
to
was the
see.
book? Yeah, yeah. What was the book that you just asked me about that has changed?
Oh,
What was that?
yeah. So I've actually heard about this book for a while. I even bought it and it sat on my bookshelf. But 2 weeks ago, I actually picked it up. Super easy read, guys. Like, so easy to read. I literally had an epiphany. Like, seriously, like, I feel like my life has changed just in the last 2 weeks since I read it. So basically, everybody has two geniuses. So this is where it's your natural. You should be spending the most time. It's going to fuel your purpose, your energy, and you'll be the most successful. Then you have your two that you can kind of do, like, shouldn't spend too much time there. You will get burnout, but you can kind of do it. It's okay. Then you have your two that you're like not good at. And sometimes you even could be okay at it, but you hate it. It
Yep.
drains your energy. So I realized, first of all, there's a great quiz. So you take it. And I realized, like, I kind of already knew. So in mine, if anyone knows it, I'm an inventor and a galvanizer. So I have tons and tons and tons of ideas. And I'm so somebody like likes to rally the troops, get them all excited, like, hey, let's do this, get together.
Right.
And then I had my leadership team, I'll take them. And so I stopped doing stuff in not my genius zone and I went all in on my geniuses just in the last 2 weeks. Then I had my leadership team take them, found out they were spending time too much in their, so, and we balance each other out. So that's good, right? So it's helped me immensely. Just like the last 2 weeks, I've just been focused. I'm going to spend my energy here. And on this part, I'm going to work on leveraging out. And when we say leverage, we use automation. We are obviously super heavy tech stack. We
Yeah.
use virtual assistants at a super high level. So these are the ways to scale, but you always have to be thinking about leverage. How do I leverage this? It could be like, hey, every time I present an offer from a buyer to a listing agent, I got to write this email. Well, if you're going to write it once, put in a beautiful canned response where you just pop in some things, you have a package ready to go, and now it's a professional presentation. So it's, little things like that, like put it in a canned template, save, pull it up, pop it, send. Fixer is another thing you can plug into your email. And it's so incredibly smart with the AI. It'll draft emails, it'll categorize them, it'll star. And literally, some people can spend an hour, 2 hours a day on email. You can now spend 10, 15 minutes. So,
That's what I was going to ask you. Any favorite app or technology right now that has helped you streamline your business? So you just said, well, first off, I missed the title of the book. Either I wasn't listening or you were just explaining everything.
oh, yeah. So
For
just
the
look for the Renaissance Real Estate Agent
Renaissance real stuff. Okay.
and you'll find
Yeah.
it.
Okay. And so then a favorite app or tech that you like to personally use to streamline since you're really into that within your leadership
Yeah.
group.
So I've had a CRM since 2004, and that was Top Producer at the
Yeah,
time.
it
I
was top producer.
yeah, but that was before it was real popular. So I always believed in it, right? And then I've
Yep.
always been a super user of it.
Yep, me too.
So like Boomtown and Sierra, but we've used Follow Up Boss for a few years now. It really, for real estate agents, I really feel like it's the only way to go because it talks so intelligently and integrates with things like YLOPO, which is one of my favorite things. Just so you know how powerful YLOPO is, I did a lead sweep last week for 2 hours of my whole team's leads, booked 18 and like re-engagements with the agents. And how I did it is so YLOPO generates because they're retargeting on steroids. Like they have a VA ISA, sorry, AI ISA, if you know that
Okay.
that is.
Yeah.
And actually, like a couple years ago, it sucked. Now it's great. So I went to YLOPO has like a hot list, right? So you can go see all the people the most active on the site. So I started on the site now, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 18 minutes, 22 minutes. I in 500 leads, like I think I got to like maybe a week ago. That's how many people. So it's being able to utilize like how else could like in a CRM could you just go and know who's the
Right.
hottest people to call?
Right.
Fellow is amazing if you've ever heard of like HomeBot. It's like that on super steroids, and it integrates
Hmm.
super well with Follow Up Boss. Those are like seller reports that go out. And just so you can hear a recent success story, I had helped a buyer and a seller in 2019, luxury, amazing people, buy a house 2019. I will tell you, since I got on production with my team, I wasn't doing a great job following up. But every month they would view that report just to see. It was like really like they were just really curious. So they were on the site. I called them the next day and so weird you called because me and Eddie were talking about selling our house last night. Can you come this week? Sure. It's a $3.3 million listing and a $3 million buy. And so these are systems like it's like you had an assistant, multiple assistants working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Also, I love Shiloh. It's SHILO .ai. And what that does is it listens to all the calls, transcribes them. See, it will show you like how much time did you listen versus talk. So if you're talking for 80%,
Wow.
listening for 20%, that's not good, right? It'll like have like the whole call, and then in the call it'll have little red spots. You could fast forward to there, and that's where the conversation went negative in some way. So instead of like waiting for the whole call, you can go, "Phew." And so it's really easy too for team leaders because it's like having your own sales director as an AI. So it's scalable. And you can go to your agent calls, listen to them. And instead of like, I mean, what if there's a 12-minute call? Do you have time to listen to that call for 12 minutes?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So Shiloh will like put all of that in front of you. So, I mean, the data is incredible. Those are a few of my favorites. We have a lot of like integrations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Again, this is not automation and tech, but you really have to think about virtual assistants nowadays. I had 12 administrative people before the market, went crazy in 22,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I'm working on right now. We have just 3 American employees, and then we have 4, soon to be 7. And we're going to be up to 15 by the end of year, a whole virtual assistant crew. They are some of the best employees I have ever had. Their $7 an hour to them is huge. We give
Yeah.
them $100 bonus. It's huge. So that like if you try to order, if you try to order, come on in. If you try to hire Americans, I'm going to tell you, Americans are the most laziest people I've ever met. I love like, are you an immigrant? Come on in.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're incredibly expensive. There's a lot of management, taxes.
Right.
It's incredibly, and it's not scalable. You can't just be like, okay, I can pay another 80 grand salary. Oh, here's another 70 grand salary. So, and if anybody wants to really grow, even if this is a solo agent, maybe like coming like, oh, I'm spending too much time in paperwork. Before you hire a TC or assistant, just hire a VA. A
VA.
VA can do all of that for you.
And you're actually the first gal that I've talked to here on the podcast that's actually implementing and using that many VAs that they alluded to. Maybe they do, but they didn't bring it up. And so I know from my B&B business, using VAs, very, very effective. From your standpoint, how long does it take you to train them to do the way you want it to do? in your
Yeah.
view?
So
Can you
actually, I
share?
mean, like even when I started, the training was kind of automated. So we have, so I mean, I know, so my integrator, my operations manager, she's the
Right,
one that like manages them.
right.
But
Okay,
there's a head VA and then there's the other VAs. So what's
right.
happening right now is we have four VAs in four separate categories. Now they have their job description, but they're going to have another layer deeper. So say it's social media. We have one that's about putting the content out front facing. Then we get the second one to do more like DMs, comments, more personal. And so now we have two layers deep. But, we find that, and I will say, just so a week ago, after I got back from the conference, I met this amazing agent. So we're already running four, right? And they're really good, but he's running 15 as a solo agent. So he told me, he's like, you need 15. So his company I've hired, it's very affordable and he trains them and manages them.
Oh, wow.
90 hours of training and then ongoing training all the time. And they put the candidates in front of you. So you don't have to go to all these channels to find
Yeah,
them.
everything, try to find
We
them.
do Zoom interviews. We'll hire five, maybe. And we're going to keep two or three. So that's kind of like how we're and have been approaching it. And you just have to, I know in like the Philippines, you have to kind of see, what is their health insurance like? Because a lot of them are in the emergency room every 2 weeks. Like, how was there? I mean, there was a crazy typhoon just a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago, and that was
yeah,
catastrophic. So just
yeah.
a little things to be aware of. We also have one in Italy, so we have,
Really?
by the Philippines
Okay.
too.
Yeah, I have come across more in South Africa now. It's like, okay. And they do speak English very well, and so it's just like, oh, this is
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah. And this very, very interesting because if you would have told me 30 years ago of where we are today, where do you think we're going to be 5 years from now? What is your brain going to blow out here and say you think we're going to be at?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't try. I don't know how many people are listening that like are Elon Musk fans. No matter how you
Yeah.
feel about him, you can't argue that he's brilliant. Probably like maybe one of the most, but obviously the most like I'd say futuristic humanitarian is. So I listened to him on Rogan. He was like 3 hour interview was amazing. And what did he say? In the next 10 years, we're like with robots and like all the
Oh,
AI,
yeah.
we're gonna have like a universal higher income, and the robots are gonna be doing all the work and humans are gonna be like, what do? They don't have purpose, and it's scary because right now, if you don't outperform AI, like what kind of value do you bring? It's that human component that we must master. So, I mean, where we go, it's crazy. It's like I think Elon Musk also said that we should be a multiple colonized planet in our solar system in his lifetime. So, where is AI going to take us? All I know is if we're not on the train and adapting fast now, we're going to be fizzled out or dead, in just like 2 to 3 years. I don't know
So,
how to
so
not use ChatGPT ever
I
again. You
know.
don't have to.
Well, the thing I'm looking at is the other end, little catch 22 is like, who's going to buy our houses if no one has a job?
Well, I mean, I know like right now, I mean, they've been underbuilding for, many years in Arizona specifically. We have more
Yeah.
people here than the rooftop. So some markets will do better.
Yeah.
But
Than
obviously
others.
we have a population problem here. We're not like
Yeah.
72. We need to have more babies. So
Yeah.
in 30 to 40 years, we might see the biggest crash of houses we've ever had. So who knows?
Yeah. No, no, I know. And so the intrigue and I guess what's the word I'm trying to think of is it kind of blows your mind with how things are going so fast. And when you start, and I like listen to other podcasts and everything too. And I was listening to another right before I came on with you today. And it was just like, what? I spend hours. What? And I use ChatGPT too, but that's all I'm using it as. I'm not using all these other resources and stuff. And I'm going, that's crazy. How would it ever do? In my background in biomechanics, I mean, what took me basically 2 years to do my dissertation with black and white high speed film and hand digitizing everything, you can do it on your phone in like 3 minutes now. When you think about how
Crazy.
long it took me to do that,
Yeah.
and write the computer program and 5 1/4 inch floppy disk, and it's so slow, it's like, oh my God, this is going to take forever. And just that my grandmother passed away about 5 years ago, and she was 102.
Oh, wow.
I know our mom's 94. And
Oh, wow.
so I know we live forever, the women do in our family. And I asked her when at her 100th birthday party, I said, Nana, I said, what's the biggest thing between when you were younger and today? And you know what she said to me? She goes, everything moves too fast. And that was
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
And my uncle actually she worked for my uncle till she was 98. She was the customer service rep at his company. Or
Yeah.
person, you'd call her up and she'd be answering the phones.
Yeah.
He finally laughed about it. I had to fire her at 100 because she wouldn't leave. But I
Yeah, I
kind of,
remember.
that's
That's
what she
okay.
said. She said, everything's moving so fast that she couldn't keep up with it. And she goes, I just don't know.
I know, like, remember in the days when, like, you would leave a voicemail on their answering machine, and they would, like, call back the next day, and you'd be like, "Hey." Now it's like,
Yeah,
"You didn't respond. I texted you. It's been 2 minutes. Why aren't you responding?"
I
So,
know.
I mean, in your business, you have to have speed to lead. You have to have urgency, and the only way to have it is through tech, right?
Technology.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
just yeah.
I know. Well, I want to say again, say your name again at the end here because I want to say thank you again and making sure that we can get in touch with you so that in case something gets dropped off during this, how can we get in touch with you again, Jen Marie?
Yes, so JenMarie.Holmes on Instagram.
That'll work. So I want to thank you again. If you're inspired by these powerful women in real estate, you'll want to catch the next conversation. Click the video on screen to keep sipping, selling, and leveling up your game.